Hello everyone, today you're going to attempt to do cross-hatching technique, and to achieve this you're going to draw lines that will represent tone, line that will represent the contour, the shape of their face, and lines that represent the outline of their face. So I'm going to show you the process on how to achieve a cross-hatching technique where you're applying control and accuracy to your drawing. There shouldn't be any areas that looks like a scribble, and they should all look like purposeful marks that you are creating in order for it to look like a face. So first thing, you need to be using a biro pen, and you're going to start by outlining the eye area. So the eyelid, the iris, the pupil, and the eyebrows. And the outline is really important that it stays prominent in your drawing so it doesn't get lost in all the lines that you're going to be drawing. So I'm going to start by adding the eyebrow hairs, and obviously the hair strands are very short, so you want to be drawing very short hatching lines that shapes the eyebrows. And then you want to go back in the area where you're adding eyelashes, and make sure your eyelashes, the lines are drawn in a curved shape rather than in a straight kind of angle. And then in the iris area, you want to create these hatching lines that go towards the pupil, almost like drawing a sun. And then the top part of the pupil, the iris, you're going to shade it in with a darker tone. And then around the eyes, you're going to draw the iris outline and create hatching marks as you draw around her eye area. You want to make sure you're making these purposeful marks that shows tone and it doesn't look like a scribble. And I'm creating these hatching marks to help shape her face where it looks 3D. And I only cross hatch areas that shows dark tone, as you can see, whereas the rest of my lines I create hatching lines, meaning lines going in a similar direction to show a lighter tone. Pause the video now so that you can have a go at drawing the eye. For the nose area, you want to shade in the nostril because that's the darkest part of the tone, and then you want to blend it out by creating these hatching lines that goes outwards from her nostril. And then on the side of her nose, you can see quite a prominent sort of bracket shaped outline, and you want to create that mark so that you can tell that it looks 3D and that it sticks out from your face. And as I'm hatching the lines, I'm making sure my diagonal marks are going in upward direction so that it looks like it is a feature that sort of sticks out and stands out from our face. Pause the video now to have a go. So from the forehead area, we can tell that that area is quite a flat surface, but we also need to show that it sort of comes around to the front of our face. So you're going to create these diagonal lines from the side of her face and going in an upward motion. And as you go towards the forehead, you're going to curve your lines and creating a more of a horizontal line as you go further out, so that you're drawing contours, the shape of her face where it flattens out at the front. And areas you want to crosshatch is areas that should show dark tones only. And you can see I'm drawing more lines in that area because if you look at the picture, that part shows darker tone. Pause the video now so that you can have a go. Okay, so now we're going down to the cheek area of her face, and again keep looking at the image you're referring from and look for areas that need to show dark tones. Areas that showing dark tone you need to cross hatch, and areas that shows lighter tone you want to start contouring to the shape of her face so that it looks more 3D. So contouring meaning you need to create curved lines so that it creates that shape that looks 3D, whereas areas that need to show dark tone you need to be adding more cross-hatching lines. And I'm just building up, and throughout I am using my pen by feathering it out, by drawing it lightly, and I'm not pressing hard. I'm being really careful with my marks so that I'm thinking about making sure it looks 3D. For the lips area, you want to outline it by pressing really lightly, and then areas that shows really dark tone, you want to cross hatch it over by overlapping the lines. And then the parting between the lips, the top lips and the bottom lips, you want that outline to be quite prominent, where it's quite dark, so that you can tell there's a shadow there between the two lips. And then areas to contour it, keep your lines quite spaced out so that you can tell it's a three-dimensional shape. Okay, so now your drawing should start to look a little bit more 3D, and you've got a range of light, middle, dark tone, you've got some contour lines and so forth. What I want you to do in this section is to refine your drawing. So you've got a lot of lines, and each of the lines could be representing tone or contour or outline, and you want to make sure those individual lines are represented correctly, or that you're adding enough impact to your drawing to make it look more realistic and 3D. So what I'm doing, I'm cross-hatching areas that need to show darker tones. I'm extending my contouring lines to create a three-dimensional form. Pause the video now to add that in. Now for the hair section, you can see a wide range of tone where there are highlights where light bounces off, because that's where light touches first. Now I'm making these individual hair strands as I'm hatching my drawing technique, and when I'm hatching, I'm keeping my lines really close together, overlapping each other to create that look of hair. And I'm leaving out the area where there's a highlight, but I'm just creating some contour lines on the highlight area, so it's not just an empty space. And here you want to be resilient and patient with yourself as you're making those individual lines. Some areas you will need to extend a very long line hatching technique so that it shows like it is hair, that she's got long hair. If it's short hair like the eyebrows, then you do shorter lines, but whereas for hair at the top, because she's got long hair, you want to extend your contouring techniques. And here I'm just overlapping my lines, showing those dark and light tones. Areas that's showing the highlights, like really light tones, I kind of leave that bit out, but just add a few lines on top to create that shape that makes it look 3D. At this point, your drawing should come together. Make sure you're always refining and going back into your drawing. As this is a demo, it's an incomplete drawing, and hopefully this allows you to work more independently now that you know how to get started.